Good day, guys. Coach Chad here. Today, I want to talk about the Quantum Leap nutritional approach, and I'm going to start to introduce in the nutritional participants guide that you guys are going to be working with over the next 6 months. So just as a recall, you guys are going to have your mindset guide as well as your nutrition guide. So two aspects of this program that you're going to be working in. Now, you will have workbooks and follow along videos and things just like this that will be part of the program throughout the next little while. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quickly share my screen here so that you guys can see the program that you guys will be receiving. So you can see this here. And this program right here is the Quantum Leap Nutrition Participants Guide, a high velocity nutritional approach that delivers dramatic results. So this is going to be sent to you guys in pieces over the next 6 months. And you can see where we're going. Today, we are going to be dropping into and discussing our nutritional philosophy. Now, this is the foundation of where we are going to be going. And this is the foundation that we're going to be built upon. And then we're going to just keep layering on top of this over the next few months, more and more information and purpose, if you will, and direction to you guys to make sure that you're on the right path to success. So when you look at this one right here, it starts off with the nutritional philosophy. Now, the nutritional philosophy is broken down and I believe to be probably a very simple philosophy that we hold, but it's the application of this philosophy that becomes the challenging part, which is why the mindset component of this program is such a drastic component. So the very first line here is there's a clear path to success in body transformations and fat loss. And it points out 5 key distinct points. The first one is a correct exercise regime. Second is an appropriate mindset. Third is optimal stress management. Fourth, optimization of habits and beliefs. And then lastly is the correct diet. And we're going to get into a little bit about what the correct diet actually looks like. But let's go through those points one at a time. A correct exercise regime. Now, most of you guys, I know personally, and you guys are involved in CrossFit programs or strength programs. So I think you guys are on the right track. Now, the exercise component is not a large component of this program, but we do touch a little bit on it. What we're going to primarily focus on is the NEAT aspects of actually non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So we're going to be looking at how you guys can have more of an active lifestyle outside the gym, because most of you guys are already active within the gym. So we're not going to dive a ton into that. But I do recommend most people on a fat loss or body transformation journey to spend their time with resistance training and not the traditional old cardio training, the long, slow distance stuff. Okay. We're going to get a little bit more into that later. Then the next one is the appropriate mindset. Now, as I already mentioned, you guys have an entire 120 plus page workbook that you're going to be working on that addresses mindset, stress management, and habits and beliefs. We all have limiting beliefs around what is possible. We have myths that we buy into that are all part of the mindset and the habits that we take part in on a daily basis. And our job and our purpose is to start to break down those habits and start to understand those beliefs. And as we understand our beliefs and create greater awareness around our position with nutrition and lifestyle, and then we start to be able to have a much easier process in breaking down the habits that we all possess that for the most part negatively feed us in the results that we're trying to achieve. So we're going to start diving into that. The stress management aspect is going to be mostly built around changing the nutrition aspects, because I'm a firm believer in the fact that in order to optimize stress management, you have to optimize your eating. Now, of course, sleeping environment, all of that stuff will become into it. So we'll dive into that a little bit later as well. But the last point on here is the correct diet. Now, a really important fact that we have to address here is that with regard to a correct diet, I want to make this as clear as possible today. And as we go through all this, there is no such thing as a perfect diet. There is no such thing as a correct diet. There is no such thing as an ideal diet. An ideal diet for most people, if you will, is one that you can adhere to, one that you can follow, one that you believe in, and also works within your lifestyle, the way you eat, the way you do things. So what's going to happen as we travel through this next 6 months is that you're going to find every single one of you is going to have a slightly different nutritional approach. And that is on purpose, because it has to follow and live within the confines of your lifestyle and the way that you see and interact with food. The way I eat will not be the way that you eat, and we are not trying to conform everyone into some box that we are going to say is a proper diet. So a classic example would be the paleo approach. I agree with over 90% of the concepts that come with the paleo diet. What I don't agree with is limiting certain foods, creating restrictions or barriers, which I think are barriers to success for most people inside of nutrition. So an example would be, you can never eat corn, you can never eat bread, you can never eat this. I think that's a really negative approach to dieting. I think that's a negative approach to the way we want to see healthy eating. So we don't have that in this program. We use a flexible approach, which we're going to get to a little bit more later. The other side of it is, I don't want to be kicking out certain food groups or simply entire macronutrients. And what I mean by that is the big phase right now, or craze, in things like keto. Keto is not a great nutritional approach for exercising athletes or people that are enjoying exercise. There's also something to be said for the adherence to a program in your social life and things like that. It has to fit your actual life. And I think keto has too many limitations when you take out an entire macronutrient being carbohydrates. So I could go into much more detail on that, but we won't go into that right now. Now, what I want to kind of discuss, and is one of the key points that's inside of this nutritional philosophy, is the idea of this story I have in there of a captain running a ship. And let's use an example of a captain going from New York City over to some port in the Mediterranean. He's going to Italy, Greece, whatever it might be, but his goal is to get there. Now, what we have to understand about this is that he has to have a lot of faith in this journey, because the catch is, he knows that he has to have a goal in mind, which is the port in wherever he's going. He has a direct actual goal, which you have to create as well, which we're going to be doing over the next few weeks, is creating a strong, firm goal that you are going to chase down with enthusiasm. That's what we want to create. People are much more energetic and happier when they have a goal, a worthy ideal to chase and to stay on task. So we want to make sure that that's the case. Now, that is the port for the captain. He knows where he's going, but the catch is, along the way, he might run into storms and all kinds of things that get in his way. So he has to be willing to adhere and to adjust his plan appropriately. But the most important aspect of that, though, is that he actually can't see the port. He can't see where he's going. Now, for most people with regard to nutrition and trying to change their body or make a body transformation, is that they don't really truly have a plan in place. They just simply have some basic ideas they want to work with, but that would be the same as him having no engine or rudder on his boat. Now, if we just push him off into the ocean and he has to go across, he will hit land eventually. Where he hits land, we have no idea, but it's most likely and highly unlikely that it's going to be at the port of his desire. Now, that is exactly how most people head off with nutrition. They head off in a plan, they head off without a plan, and they're going in a direction hoping for the best, hoping and wishing that their outcome becomes the case. And that is exactly what we are not going to do. We are going to put forward a plan and put in place for each one of you guys that you can adhere to. And we're going to be working on the mindset components of that and making sure we hit those 5 components that we discussed a little bit earlier, right? Managing our stress, managing our habits and our beliefs, and understanding those concepts to create a stronger mindset that will allow for you to achieve the results and the goals that you desire. That is our end goal. And along that path, we've got to have a little bit of faith, because right now you cannot see the end, just like the captain cannot see the port that he's going to land at, but you must have faith that it's there, and you must have faith in the process as you go along there. So we're going to get into belief and decision-making and faith and all those kinds of things later. Those are all aspects of what I'm talking about. But right now, I just want you guys to maintain and hold faith in the outcomes that we're going to be trying to achieve. Okay. Now, past that, we're going to get into what flexible dieting is. Now, flexible dieting is a word to me which is very similar to functional fitness. Sadly, it doesn't really mean a lot. And it's also maybe something that gets overused and beaten up and used in ways I don't think are appropriate. So in the CrossFit world, we talk about functional fitness. pretty much anything is functional. And the same thing here is when you get into like flexible dieting, people will say any nutritional approach is flexible, and that may be the case, but I don't think keto and paleo, where you add restrictions in, is truly flexible. So in this case, what I want to make sure you guys understand is there's no such thing as a fattening food. There's no such thing as a weight loss food. There's no such thing as a weight gain food. There are only basic principles that you have to adhere to start to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. And we have to keep that in a flexible framework, which means there is no offside foods, there is no onside foods. It's all simply available to you, but we're going to give you 2 to 3 basic rules that you have to follow, and then you have to adhere and make your food choices fit within that. And that's where you'll start to find the flexible approach is the easiest approach, because as I said earlier, the best diet is a diet that you will follow and that you can adhere to with ease. That is our goal. So again, there is no such thing as a perfect diet. There is no such thing as an ideal diet. And if we were to use those terms, it would just simply come down to a plan that you can follow consistently that will provide you the goals, the results that you are looking for. Okay. So there is no one size fits approach to any of this stuff. It's simply going to be a matter of at some level challenging your guys' kind of belief systems on what you think proper food is. This is something we have to face all the time, and getting rid of some of the myths that we have around food and starting you on a path to success with a true flexible dieting approach. Okay. So we're going to dive into this much more over the next few weeks, guys. But for right now, I want you guys to simply start to read your manuals that I'm sending you, which are all short. And then you guys have your check-in that you also have to do as well to get your baseline measurements. Those baseline measurements are going to be where we start to put together some of your information and processes that you have for future with regard to your numbers in your tracking. So all kinds of fun things to come, guys. For now, I wish you guys all the best. We'll see you soon. And you're going to get a lot of messages from us over the next little while. So stay tuned, guys. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.